This is the story of an organization that has served the Fox Valley area since 1948. It is a story of committed men and women who created a charitable foundation to provide local communities with the highest quality donor services, effective grant and scholarship programs, and bold initiatives to address urgent community needs. This is our story, the story of the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley. In 1943, Charles Hofer, then publisher of the Aurora Beacon News, convened a group of community leaders to study post-war plans for a better Aurora. Weekly luncheon meetings were held at the Round Table in the Elks Club in downtown Aurora. The war years were inflationary, and many businesses thrived in Aurora. Manufacturing plants were operating at full capacity and were extremely profitable. Corporate income taxes were excessively high, and business leaders were seeking ways to redirect their profits from onerous taxation to the service of local needs. Conditions thus were favorable for the formation of a philanthropic vehicle, a community foundation, which would allow the maximum tax deductibility for gifts and also for the accumulation of these contributions in special charitable funds. Assets so accumulated would be invested for growth and retained for later distribution to charitable causes, as suggested by the donors. These reservoirs of charitable gifts, known as advisory funds, could be named after the companies or individuals contributing the gifts. In 1948, formal structure was given to this concept through the establishment of the Aurora Foundation. The first meeting of the foundation was held at the Aurora Chamber of Commerce offices in Aurora, Illinois. Aurora industrialist William B. Green was elected president, a position he held for 13 years. Attorney Frank R. Reed, Jr. served as the foundation's first secretary and legal counsel. Throughout its history, the foundation has been governed by a board of directors comprised of civic-minded business and community leaders. Board presidents include, in order of service, William B. Green, Charles P. Wright, George H. Alexander, Malcolm L. Jones, Neil Ormond, Carl P. Gruby, Vernon H. Haas, Frank Voris, F. James Garby, John F. McKee, Frank K. Voris, John H. McKieran, Jr., Donald A. Schindelbeck, Ruby M. Frank, Albert D. McCoy, Darrell L. Jordan, Thomas S. Alexander, David B. Hipp, Hillary K. Brennan, Ralph D. Voris, Robert P. Hubbard, Neil Ormond III, and Mark E. Trumper. 4 administrators who have been responsible for the management of the foundation include Attorney Frank R. Reed, Jr., who served from 1948 until his death in 1962. Attorney Ralph C. Putnam, Jr. succeeded Reed. Mr. Putnam continued to administer the foundation until 1982. Attorney R. Peter Grometer served from 1982 until 1985, when he assumed the position of Circuit Court Judge for the 16th Judicial Circuit. Sharon Streddy was appointed administrator in 1985 and continues to administer the foundation to this day as its president and CEO. She has had a long and proud history with the foundation. When Attorney Frank Reed served as administrator, the foundation first operated out of the Aurora Chamber of Commerce offices, located in the Hotel Aurora at 2 North Island Avenue. Later, the foundation's address was 400 North Highland Avenue. This was the location of the Barber Green Company, founded by William B. Green, the then current president of the foundation. During the tenure of attorney Ralph Putnam, the law firm of Alschuler, Putnam, McGuethy, Weiss, and Weiler welcomed the foundation to its offices at 32 Water Street in Aurora. The firm occupied the second floor of the building. When attorney Grometer took the reins, the foundation continued its operations at the firm, then called Alschuler, Putnam, McGuethy, Funke, and Grometer. Also during this time, Ruth Skaggs was hired to administer the scholarship program. Mrs. Skaggs served the foundation for 18 years, retiring in 1988. After Sharon Streddy was appointed administrator in 1985, the foundation opened its first official office on the third floor of the old Second National Bank in downtown Aurora, where it remains to this day. 2 years later, in 1987, Rhonda Seuss joined the organization and continues to serve the foundation as its program director. In 2006, the foundation adopted a new name to more accurately reflect the communities it has always served. The Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley continues the tradition of the Aurora Foundation by reaching out to citizens of the greater Aurora area, the Tri-Cities, and Kendall County, Illinois. And then Jeffrey Hartman joined the foundation in 2013. As Vice President of Development, he currently focuses his efforts on increasing the visibility of the foundation throughout the Fox River Valley area. The Community Foundation strives to be a trusted, charitable vehicle for citizens by providing a simple, powerful approach to giving, the ability for donors to custom design their own named funds, and the option for funds to reflect each donor's charitable interests. Through the foundation, individuals, families, businesses, civic clubs, and nonprofit organizations are able to create the following types of funds: advisory funds, scholarship funds, restricted funds, grant-making program funds, administrative funds, and funds that reflect a combination of charitable purposes. These funds can be created as endowments, which provide grants in perpetuity in the name of the fund. Endowments enable donors to extend their giving beyond their lifetimes. Funds also can be created to address charitable needs on a temporary basis. Advisory funds and scholarship funds are often intended to close upon the fulfillment of their charitable objectives. As the founding board members understood, advisory funds are an attractive vehicle for charitable donors. Some of the many people honored through these funds today include Robert Becker, Mary Bertolini, the Dolan family, and the Lease family. Businesses also continue to maintain advisory funds. Belson Outdoors, Geneva Construction Company, Olson Roofing Company, and the Old Second National Bank are but a few examples. More than 180 separate scholarship funds are being administered by the Community Foundation. Lorraine Bryant, Howard Charles Jr., Danny McHugh, and Neil and Marjorie Ormond are but a few of the individuals whose funds provide scholarships to local students. Funds also have been created for the benefit of local churches. Holy Angels Catholic Church, New England Congregational Church, St. Mary Catholic Church, and Trinity Episcopal Church are being served through charitable funds within the Community Foundation. Other donors have created funds to benefit nonprofit organizations, such as the Aurora Historical Society, Fox Valley Orchestra, the Paramount Theater, Provena, now Presence Mercy Medical Center, and the East and West Aurora school systems. Donors who create funds for the awarding of grants without restrictions make it possible for the Foundation to respond to the current needs of the community in their names: Christina and Thomas Anderson, Malcolm and Lydia Jones, John and Gwen McKee, James and Catherine Navoda, and Joseph and Laura Oberweis have placed their faith in the Community Foundation's Board of Directors, knowing that the most urgent community needs will be addressed with the awarding of grants from their funds. In addition, funds have been created to support the Foundation in its work. Such funds enable the Foundation to maintain modest levels of fees for its services. Hillary Brennan, Bill and Angie Skoglund, and Sharon Streddy created funds for this purpose. And of course, through the Community Foundation, donors have the option of creating funds that support a combination of purposes. Carl and Ann Bauman, James and Barbara Henning, and Marion Winteringham created funds that address several charitable needs. From 1948 to 2014, the Community Foundation awarded more than $50 million in grants and scholarships from its charitable funds. And as of early 2014, it has reached over $72 million in assets. Your Community Foundation exists to make philanthropy affordable, to engage citizens in assisting local needs, to launch students toward promising futures, to provide financial help for area nonprofits, and to be a permanent resource for tomorrow's charitable needs. The Foundation's Chairman of the Board, Mark Trumper, invites the participation of all who wish to be a part of the Foundation's continuing development as a charitable resource for area citizens. If you would like to create a legacy for your family, your business, or a nonprofit organization special to your life, please contact the Community Foundation today. We would be honored if your story became a part of our story.